When Reagan was shot, my boss said she hoped he died. I think you know where I may be going with this, but I've got something you may not have thought of. It's the big trap. And while this video is for everybody, it's especially for older men. And I'll tell you the rest of the story, what happened with my boss. But first, I want to talk about this trap. The trap in this time where God is doing this mighty move. Not just revival in America, the great awakening in the whole earth unto Jesus. The trap is that you don't get to play your part in this because you refuse to forgive. And I told my husband this. He was grieving so much. And he said, there are people rejoicing. And I knew how he felt because of what happened when my boss said that in my mind, in my heart. But that's been 30, 40 years ago. And I said, don't go there. You can't go there. You're the one who said that if you don't forgive, you're tied to that thing. You're tied to those people. You can't get free. Jesus, you're not smarter than Jesus. He said, forgive so my Father can forgive you. You're not smarter than God, who said all have sinned. And so forgiveness is not a weak thing. It's really hard to do. Anybody can get mad. Anybody can rant and rave. Anybody can want to wreak havoc on people that are so mean, so awful, that they rejoice when there's a widow and when there are orphans. But that is so evil that it comes straight from hell. There is where our enemy is, and the Bible tells us that, and it tells us what to do about it. So I want to urge you to, if that has taken hold and that bitterness is trying to get in your heart over all these things, and to look up and see feel the palpable presence of the Holy Spirit through this, through what has happened. And know that you have a part to play. To say, whatever you want me to do, God, enough is enough. I am in this war with you. I'll do it the way you said. You said to forgive, I will forgive. You said vengeance is yours, I will trust you with that. And I can tell you that you can forgive at the same time you are waging war, but you will not win without doing it God's way. And I think there's a lot of people nowadays that call themselves Christians. Maybe they gave their heart to Jesus sometime, but there's no evidence of it. And that will not fly. That will not work. We are at a time that to me is the most spiritually significant time of my entire life, certainly of my entire life as a Christian. And there's been some significant things happen, but this is a new day. And Satan wants to take everybody out through getting their eyes on the awfulness of things that people are saying. You got to get your eyes on the Lord. You got to get your eyes on the Lord. We have to be in one accord, because the Bible promises what will happen when we walk in one accord. And it's good. So, before I get back to what happened with my boss, I want to say one more thing. I heard a story about an old Prussian king who, every time he tried to do it, he was evil, and every time he tried to do an evil thing, the older men on his in his cabinet would stop him. So he made a mandatory retirement. I believe it was at 65. And here we are with this pretty much mandatory retirement, and men programmed to think that they should go out to pasture, and they usually just go out to pasture and die when they hit 65 or so, or 68. You are just getting smart enough to do some good when you get in your 60s. You are just getting smart enough. You are just getting where you know what's real and right and important. You have time, you have some money, you have some wherewithal. Satan wants you out of the picture, and the way he's going to do it, if you let him, is through unforgiveness. So back to my boss. She was on her third divorce or so, alcohol, drugs, a mess, but very kind to me. I was a mess, but I didn't have those problems. So I felt sorry for her, and she felt sorry for me, and she was very good to me. And so when she said that, I just didn't say anything. So not long after that, her daughter became pregnant, and she was unmarried. And my boss's sister, who was a nurse, and her husband was a doctor, and they were all, the worldly wisdom, success. They were like, you have to have an abortion. This is going to wreck your life. And my boss entered into this battle with them. That's unexpected, right? You're not going to talk her into killing my grandchild. I think I had a part to play in that because she came to me with it, and I said, you have to stand up to your sister, and you have to support Monique. And so she did, and a few months later, she was the happiest grandmother there's ever been. She knew. She did such a good thing. If we do this right, people who don't normally do good things will join us. Don't fall for the trap of unforgiveness in this, and thereby take yourself out of the fight. I hope you share this, especially with the older men that you know, because they're not really old, they're young. 60-something is young. It's just getting going. Thank you.